Biscuits. Welcome back. So today I am sharing something that I never talk about, which is vaguely gossip related, but it's just blowing my mind this week. I don't know how many of you mamas and daddies and gender neutral parenting partners are on Facebook groups for parenting, but I'm on a whole bunch because I just find it helpful and fun, and sometimes it answers questions that I have, So I was on a birth group for this year, right? And it's like a MOMZY network. So they have a bunch of different birth months that they do. And this week has just blown up into this scandal, which I think goes to bigger issues with the motherhood community on social media. Can be very predatory and salesy and judgmental. And that's something that I never like. It's part of why I don't do like exclusively motherhood content. Is I feel like women are more than just that, and the really tight-knit, closed off, insular, just motherhood stuff can be a little culty and weird. So the MOMZY network, it turned out to have been some kind of like fishing expedition for mothers' data that they think the founder was selling off. They aren't sure if she's actually in the US or not. And they had like some kind of spreadsheet going that listed like hospitals people were giving birth at and their names and their due dates, like all sorts of information that they had gleaned from things and then were selling off to people. And moms started freaking out on the Facebook group, like, is this human trafficking? I don't know how it leapt to that. I'm not sure how a spreadsheet would do that. I think it was data mining, but it turned into this whole thing. And like part of the group left and formed their own group, and the other group is saying, oh, you should just expect your data to be stolen if you're going to be online. And I thought that was really where this was interesting, because don't get me wrong, I love some hot gossip, but I'm hesitant to gossip about people because I know how one-sided that kind of thing is. Like I'll Google my name occasionally, which I've got to stop doing. And sometimes people make mean videos about me, and why don't you talk to me? That's entirely not true, but okay. So I realized that there is this whole like gossip ecosystem that isn't about facts, but this fascinated me because it does bring up this whole idea of if we join a group thinking that it's a private group for expectant moms that we're all due the same period of time, and we're asking each other questions, multiple time mamas are helping out first time mamas, everybody's asking questions, kind of comforting each other. Should we just expect our data to be stolen and used for purposes that we didn't know it was being used for, right? Or that we didn't even know it was being collected, right? I err on the side of no. I think you should know if your data is being used, and you should know where it's being used and what it's being used for, right? And you should know how anonymous it is, because it's one thing to have a giant collection of anonymous data that they don't really know who you are. But like I signed up for a baby registry just for me to organize things. And as soon as I did that, like formula companies were mailing me formula, and I was getting all sorts of random spam messages. So it let me know instantly that because I had signed up for that registry, they had sold my information. And I am sure that's there in the fine print and I just don't see it. But I find that frustrating. I would like it to be much more upfront and honest. And I think especially for Facebook groups, I belong to some Facebook groups that are for women entrepreneurs, right? And that has been lovely. It's been so inspiring to see other women's journeys for starting their own businesses as mothers, because I think it's a particular journey to be a mama entrepreneur because you're being pulled in so many different directions. Like I was an entrepreneur before becoming a mom, and had some great failures during that time, but oh my God, it's such a different ballpark to be playing in when you're also the primary caregiver for kids, right? That's just a really big one. But it's let me see by being part of this group that there's a lot of data mining, that other moms are really taking advantage of moms who are looking for information or camaraderie or community, and taking that data and maybe not using it for the best things, not best practices. Like I don't gather the data of my Patreon supporters. I don't gather the data of my workout course supporters. I remember one year I think it was last year on Patreon, I offered to send everybody a signed postcard. There was just a fun, like, burlesque shot, you know, like an old-timey pinup shot with me saying, hey, personalized. And I said, you don't have to have this. You would have to give me your address, and I'll mail it to you. And people got really scared. They're like, do you have our addresses? What's going on? I was like, no, no, no. I don't keep track of that. I have no hidden spreadsheets. This is, you know, no. If you want to send me your address, I would send you that card. And it let me realize how frightened people are of this. And apparently good reason, because this whole MOMZY Network thing has just exploded into like, what are the lines that shouldn't be crossed? How can you be more honest? And if you're making a lot of money off of other women without telling them what you're doing, and you're making them feel unsafe, does it matter what you're doing with that information? Even if it's for good purposes, if it's making those women feel unsafe. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I thought it was really scandalous and crazy and kind of just blew up into this whole thing. Yeah, it's so tricky because I'm sure there's money to be made with all this data mining, but it's such a tricky thing because I feel like that's frequently making people feel like they're taken advantage of. I like to stick with the more, not brick and mortar, but more solid, like, you know, this t-shirt. This is the best superpower mama t-shirt. I sell it in my shop. It's easy. I'm not collecting anybody's data when I sell it. I just have a little shop that I run with my t-shirts, and it helps support all my channels on here, right? This channel and my homemaker channel, which is a really nice thing. And I'm more comfortable in that world than, and maybe for my detriment, like maybe I should know more about data mining. I probably should. I work in social media and I don't really follow that. Yeah, it gave me that creepy sensation when this all came out because it felt like somebody, and this may not be true, but it felt like somebody taking advantage of women in a really vulnerable time in our life, which is when we're expecting a baby, to further themselves financially without really being honest to the women and kind of manipulating them and not being cool, right? Like not being ethical. And I hope that it opens up a dialogue in the mommy community, at least a little bit, about a little bit better practices. And I think that that can be hard because the mommy sphere in social media is so insular. It's like, you know, these few little groups and they don't talk to anybody else, that it's hard to kind of share that information and get people thinking about it and talking about it and be like, oh, you know, just stand up, like, you know, self-police ourselves over, are we being good? Are we being honest and helpful? And are we making our fellow parents feel safe in our communities? You know, that's what really matters, I think, is maybe not what our intention could be, because our intention can be really good, but like if this woman is making all of these moms, like thousands of moms, feel super unsafe now, that's not fair. You know, that's not cool. So tell me, let me know. I know the comments are shut off here, but I will post on Instagram too, where you can leave comments and tell me your stories. Like, have you run into these things in your birth groups or just social media mom groups? Have you run into weird like catfishing, data mining stuff? What are you doing to keep safe but still using all this media? Like, I love social media. I get so much fun. I bum around and waste so much of my time on social media. It's great. I really enjoy it. So I don't want to give that up. I just want to have safe feeling harbors, and in reality, safe harbors for our communities, you know? So we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. But I thought, I was like, what is this crazy scandal that has just happened? Oh my goodness. I'm glad that I never posted in that group. I just kind of lurked and gave helpful tips from my experience, but I didn't post my questions because I'm always a little wary, you know? But mamas should feel safe too, right? They shouldn't be data mining and having weird stuff happen with their information without their permission. It's weird times. We live in biscuits. Weird times. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the small monkeys. Oh yeah. And what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm doing a whole merch shoot. And I've got a fabulous floral themed Patreon shoot that I'm shooting for our self-care for next month. Which I think is gonna be fun. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, stay safe out there in the crazy wild social media world, because who knew? I didn't expect that this was gonna come into my week and make me go, oh, this has made me feel really uncomfortable. Okay, see you in the next video. Wait, you need you need internet hugs, because the internet is a scary place. And sometimes I feel like a little kid walking around the internet going, what am I doing here? You know? I'll see you in the next one.